I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the heat. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh, yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block, but don't know what goes on me. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government will make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. I guess to the stress to the head.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I believe we're having some technical difficulties, but Lance will get them right together soon.
Yeah.
I hope everyone is well on this day, this Sunday morning.
Okay. Oh, okay. Good. I'm sorry to jump in. I got knocked off. I'm sorry. Let me hit this music off. I'm being rude on my own show. You started already. Unbelievable. You know, I got knocked off 3 times. 3 times since I hit that button.
Okay, so yes, I had started speaking just to soothe everyone.
Yes, thank you so much. I learned something about the system today, but 4 times I got knocked off. Everything was going all good today. Just boom, out of nowhere. My voice a little hoarse. Everybody, just bear with me. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Elizabeth. Let's just take it away. We're gonna have to ad-lib this one because I might get knocked off. So just work with me. Work with me. We've been pushing hard.
No problem. So everyone, I'm sure that you see the topic of this video, and we're talking about the food crisis that is upon China. And I don't know if you've been living under a rock yourself or where you've been, but since I believe it was September the 28th or toward the end of September, China had been telling their citizens that they are going to be facing a tough harvest. Mm-hmm. And this is primarily looking at the manufacturing of how they produce foods based on the value chain. So, for example, if you have tomatoes, then you make tomato sauce, you make ketchup. So, as you know, they shut down one of their ports and all of this. Okay. But they're having issues with corn and soybeans growth there as well. So, with the large population of people, as you know, historically, they have had issues with food supply. Excuse me. And so, with the issues of the food supply upon us now, which, as you know, we talked about this on a previous show as well, myself, Empress LG, and Lance, about what's going on with the supply chain. So, since they are having issues with the production and manufacturing of foods on the value chain of each of these fruits and vegetables, as well as animals, they're telling their citizens, honey, y'all better start stocking up. So people have been out hoarding. They have been out hoarding food. So when Lance and I discussed this topic, we said, oh, yeah, let's talk what's going on. But that's part of it. I think that's part of it is the fact that what has happened throughout this panorama with farming. And as you know, a lot of countries depend on China for processing and manufacturing in terms of food-based items in value chains. What many of you may not know, I don't know what age bracket you
You're buffering to me. Let me just get some feedback from the chat room. If they can hear you loud and clear, we're good. Chat room, just let me know if you can hear her loud and clear. Just let me know if you can hear her loud and clear. The internet is deciding to act up. Yes, buffering. Okay. Yeah. Vigilance. How's it sound on Facebook? Buffering, right? But you can hear me. That's weird. That's weird. You know what I might do? Elizabeth, I might have you call me on the phone. Call me on what they can't hear you now. Let me hook up the phone. Call me on WhatsApp on our number that we text back and forth on. We'll get you in there. Let me see. Yeah. Call me if you can hear me. We'll have you on immediately. We'll try that way. That's funny because I got cut off several times. And that's just the way it is, but yeah. Tiffany. Yes, I'm glad you're here. We got to get you back on too. Yeah, but as soon as internet was working good all day, okay, here she is. More than one way to skin a cat. Elizabeth.
Yes, but
Good.
some people said that they could hear, and some said that they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Unsure.
Yeah, but you're clear. You're clear to me now. I heard a little echo. Maybe your computer was up, but good. Just carry on. Carry on. Yeah, it's good. Carry on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to hang up here then.
Yeah, good. I got to get a different banner on too. It's going to push me to the side, right in the middle. Watch. Gotta have a plan B out here. Talk to me, Elizabeth, when you're ready. I hope she didn't get cut off. I think she got what? Okay, now what's going on? Wherever you are, Elizabeth, call me on the phone again. I think you cut us off, but you got cut off. Okay, see, yeah, she's off. Let her get back on the phone. Now I gotta get a different banner, or just cover my face. That's what I'll do. There she is again. You have no idea how many wires and gadgets I got over here. Elizabeth, talk to me. Let me hear you.
Okay, that's fine. So we can. That's okay. We can go here. I just came out of the room. I'm not sure what happened. It sounded like I didn't even see it buffering, but they were saying it was buffering. I'm sure.
I heard it over here. I heard it, but you know they will do that. Whoever they are, and I'm not paranoid, but it's crazy for real. Soon as.
Right. Okay. So
yeah, but let's flow. Let's flow.
I was saying, so I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start again for the new people who have just come in. Right. We have more people,
right?
And if you want to snip it out later after processes, you can. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but as you know, this is technology. Sometimes it doesn't work. Anywho, let's go. So I'll start at this point before we start talking about the shortages that they're getting ready to have. As you know, in North America, specifically the United States, years ago, there was a vote taken by the House of Reps and the Senate to enact all of these trade deals, which most of them removed manufacturing from the program of the West. When it removed manufacturing out of America, we began to export a lot of things outside of our boundaries. Our biggest manufacturing, I'm going to call them an ally. They are an ally to us because without them, many nations would be in trouble, and that includes America. So that includes the number one player in the game, which is China. And if you recall, Empress Elegy, Lance and myself did a show about 2 months ago talking about logistics and the shortages that are impending in a lot of places, especially the ones that are not growing their own subsistence.
Right.
So fast forward to now. At the end of September, China began to urge their families to stock up on food. Why? One, they're having weather issues. Two, they're having energy shortages. When they have weather issues, that causes problem with energy. And as you know, if a lot of these places cannot get what they need in the terms of uranium, etc., when you think about energy, that stuff comes out of Africa. Don't get it twisted. Without Africa, you folks would be in the dark. So for those of you, I gotta have my sidebar, Lance. For those of you who hate Mama Alkebulan, just know that you got lights because of her. Okay? Thank you. Now, so in saying that, their production and manufacturing floors are going to be empty because of farming issues as well. If they're not even making their own corn and soybeans because of what's been going on, you know, when you harvest, you don't cultivate like for the moment in time. You're doing stuff for the future. You're stockpiling for the future. So remember, we went like a full year without normal tasks that we do to supply ourselves with the essentials. That includes food. And so the cost of everything throughout China and other parts of the world, these prices even here, vegetables and things that normally were very cheap, now the prices are triple and quadruple times what you normally would pay for them. And China is not exempt. With a population as large as it is, historically, they have always had issues with feeding their population. They've always had issues with that. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. So they sent this out through, what was it? Chinese social media. Okay? With them telling their citizens to start stocking, basically hoarding, which is counteractive to what's being done in America. But hey, it is what it is. So they are trying to prepare their citizens for the inevitable. Now, I don't know what the U.S. is doing for that. But as you know, again, we talked about this.
We talked about this. So people may be saying that they don't have enough. They have a lot of people to feed. They have a lot more people to feed than the U.S. I'm not saying that everything about it is truthful, because these people play games. We know what type of government China has, and they could be playing some games as well. But when it comes to electricity, that's no game. They need for processing and all the stuff that goes into that. I think they are honestly having shortages with this stuff. I don't think that is a myth, if you will, or a lie. Okay, and so when you think about other dry crops that they need, and that they export to other nations, they not only do their own citizens use stuff, but they export stuff on the value chain. And so the things that they export, it goes to the United States, France, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, etc., etc. These companies rely heavily on manufacturing out of China. So there you have it. I mean, this is real. So when people think that it is a myth, I don't necessarily think that it's a myth. Now, maybe they're not telling the totality of what's to come, okay? But, you know, they process a lot of stuff from corn that consists of, you've heard of cornstarch. People use that as a thickener in certain things. Yeah, syrups can be made from corn. I mean, most of our stuff that's full of a high fructose corn syrup. That stuff comes from corn.
It's bad for you. All of that stuff is bad. All the cornstarch.
It is
corn
bad
syrup.
for you, but they produce it, they manufacture it, and these countries buy it.
It keeps you obese. Oh yeah.
You know, it keeps all of that, but we're not really talking about what's going on. So if that's happening on a grand scale there, what do you think is happening on the scale in America?
Exactly.
Their food crisis is going to affect everyone, Lance, unless these people have their own farms. Growing their own stuff, stockpiling their own stuff. And the problem too, as you know, most of the people who even just farm just for themselves, they likely will be okay. But then you're going to see other people who come out, Lance, and they're going to be like, well, can I come to your house and get some food? Or maybe people are going to start stealing.
Well, that's why you got to put a 10-foot wall, electric barbed wire, couple of shotguns, and go up in the mountains. That's what you got to do. You know, but many people don't think like that. Excuse my voice again, it's a little hoarse. But look, a lot of people, let me just put it this way. They're going to be caught ass out. That's the real deal. They're going to be caught ass out. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be mayhem, because this is the COVID food crisis. Okay? COVID, to me, like I said, we all have our feelings on it, but that was a warm-up. This is dealing with your food and the hunger, and it's going to be off the chain, because like I said, your neighbors are going to be your enemies if they don't have any food. If you live in an urban area, where you're going to grow food, supermarkets may not have it. Where you going to get it? You know what I mean? And so now what you're going to do, just go off somewhere, they're going to come and try to steal your stuff. And you got to survive. For those of us who thought long ahead of time.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Folks are calling us crazy. You know what I mean? So now it's here. And they're not going to let people know right away. You look at China, China's sneaky. If they say something like that, it's something bigger. Because there's some bank that just crashed recently, yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't know if you heard about that. I should have held on to that. But see, and I'm going to shut up after this, but you have all these different factors that look like they're non-related. But as they start to appear, you don't realize how they're related, but as they converge on an area of our life, they all start, it's a perfect storm. So there've been little scares, little things here and there, but the economy can't go no longer like this. The food messed up. People are walking off of jobs, losing jobs because of the shot. I can't believe it hasn't busted yet. Really and truly. I mean, I'm not a doomsayer. I don't want to see people hurting, But I can't believe this whole thing hasn't collapsed yet. It's so in different areas. But food, crime is going up. Talk to me, sister.
Well, I would say they had China released something, because remember, we talked about the supply issue back a couple months ago. And if you then, I want to say that was in April, or was it May? Anywho, they passed a law that allowed their restaurants to basically charge the people that were coming in, their customer base, an extra fee for leaving excessive leftovers on their plate.
Wow.
Did you hear what I just said?
Wow. Oh man.
And then they were so you know how like on YouTube you would have people that made these mukbang videos and all of this stuff, and they would basically do like binge eating.
Right.
If you recall, they had fines. They started acting fines and penalizing people who made videos about binge eating. And I think the fines was something like $15,000.
This is crazy.
So again, we discussed this, and even Empress LG was giving out some gems as to how to preserve your own food.
Right.
We said that this was getting ready to happen. We already said we didn't have it down the way that they're doing it in that regard. But just like you said too, Lance, if they are telling their own citizens, they're not calling it Armageddon, but they're telling them to go and stockpile. And even if they stockpile, they're not going to have enough for everyone because their population is so huge.
Exactly.
Think about this.
Exactly.
So even at that, there's something nefarious going on, because as you say, if they're saying 10, it's likely 500, but they're only saying, oh, it's 10, because they like to downplay what really goes on there. So no, you're absolutely correct in that degree.
Right.
That's why I said there are some things about what's being said as being true. Okay. And at the same time, we just don't know, yes, to what extent it is. But I don't know what they're telling, what these other countries, like I said, the US, etc., is telling their citizens to do, because they're telling people to stop hoarding and all this mess. And people, if you had your eye on the prize, your eye would have been wide open, because we've been telling you that something nefarious was going on. And so now, once they see, our eyes should have been open, Lance, once China shut down that port. They are the biggest manufacturer in the world, for the world, in processing all types of foodstuffs, all types. Anything people can imagine, because they have the manufacturing capabilities. And so if they were to go down, that is going to have a domino effect. No, they are in a food crisis. They've been telling you they've been in the food crisis since they started coming up with these new laws. They have new laws for this stuff. So I think that sometimes Lance, we as melanated folks, we get in a silo. We get in a silo because we don't think that certain things can affect us. Oh, that's not going to affect me. Well, God damn it, you eat too. Okay? Exactly. And I told you last time we had a discussion even about this stuff. You folk, all this organic. No, America don't say nothing organic. Now, that's just the truth. So why you thinking that you go over here going into some fancy Whole Foods and getting double, triple, and quadruple charge for mess that's the same as GMO? You better wake up. All them pesticides is not GMO. Understand that. Hormones. That's not GMO unless they use some cow dung. Okay? So we have to be real. It's not that we're trying to fearmonger. We're talking about the truth of what is to come that will affect everyone, no matter how small or global or grand you think that your little world is. It's going to affect everyone. Remember, in that particular video that we did, Lance. Yes. We also said this is going to determine. See, this does not matter how much money you got. Right. You know why? Because all these multi-millionaires can't help trying to get their port back online. So you see, so in something like this, your money does not matter. They can't go to China with boatloads and barges and of containers full of food. It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So again, yes, their potential food crises is going to affect the hunger of the world to come. Now, we don't know how long we have, because it's like you said, they do not give out the real information. They don't give out the real information, Lance, so we don't know how long we have. We don't. I mean, we just don't know. So, but it is going to cause a domino effect. It's going to cause a domino effect. Except in these places where people do small scale farming, where they use it to feed the local communities or just their families.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to affect them like it affects everyone else that depends on imports. If your country is heavily dependent on food imports, it's going to affect you.
Right.
Because the processing that's done. When you think about stuff that you use every day for food, that comes out of China, and I'll run you a list down. But it is interesting, to say the least, because we don't think this is going to affect us. We just don't. Go ahead, Lance.
Well, I just wanted to show everybody what I've been nibbling on all day. It's a watermelon, freshly grown. I've been tearing it up. It don't look like much. There are seeds in there. Okay, it doesn't look right here, but this is the other half. I already ate half. That's all I ate all day. I had some kale. I had, what was it that I had with it? I had with that. Spelt biscuits. I'm weird. I put some jerk seasoning on it. I'm weird, y'all, right? It tastes good to me, right? Then I had this, and I'm good. And the thing is, where did I grow it? Y'all know I'm not there yet, but we grew it there, right? And we've been working on this for a long time, and it has to be cultivated. Like I said, wherever you go, if you go somewhere near the equator, go somewhere where you can grow watermelons all year round, or most of the year, because here in Ghana we have a wet season and we have a dry season, okay? Mm-hmm. So that dictates then the different kind of melons that come out, different kind of mangoes, right? But just put trees everywhere on your property. Mango trees, grow pineapples, watermelon, all kind of, and they got fruits over here you don't even know about in America. It tastes good, right? And it's not even just time to make it. It may be too late. It may not be. It's not a doomsayer thing, but it's a sense of urgency. It's a survival thing. Because, like I said, I don't know. We're in a daze. We got our phones in our hands. We're looking down at it. I was just listening to some music from the 70s, and you couldn't tell me that I wasn't there. But on a creative level, I use it to inspire me. But I'm very much aware of what's happening now, and I look for stuff. These are the days we have to just go out online and look in different countries' actual news and their alternative news, and go in their comment sections. I've been saying this for years. Go into their comment sections and read what the people are saying, if it's allowed to be said. Get with individual bloggers and people outside of just YouTube. Because this thing, the powers that be, their media is not going to they release what they want. They're not going to tell you what's going on. And we have to reach out to people in other countries directly and say, what is life like for you? What has been going on? What's the timeline for it? See, some people come out here and want to talk about buffoonery, and we have fun on this channel. When it's time to talk about the real deal, we do it. You understand? Because I'd hate to see, death by hunger, y'all, or even getting killed over some food. You have some food in your house stocked up, they'll kick your doors in, come at you with a gun. You get have thousands of dollars on your table, say, please take, what's the money worth? Like Sister Elizabeth said, no matter how wealthy, no matter how rich, if it's not there, even if it's there, they will come and they'll swarm you. There'll be mobs coming at you. So you got to separate yourself. Learn to live a different way. That's what it's going to take. And understand that this thing can happen like this. Once food is cut, once 3 days go by, we all turn into murderers. Our babies are crying, hungry, nothing. Imagine nothing. That grass outside, that stray dog just crapped in, starts looking good. Them trees that you don't know what it is. You're going to want to boil them leaves and eat it. Everything. You're going to see some people, and you want to eat them. Dogs, cats, stray animals. You may want to try to fish or whatever, but I mean, how you going to store the food? How you going to get away from other people? You pull up some fish, they're going to put a gun in your head. Give me that. Right? So we got to get away from the masses. Go somewhere and release this world. Get away from it with a sense of urgency for those who have not been planning. Get some land somewhere, even if you go to a country where you don't even own the land, but you plant stuff out in the wild and can go to there. Ghana is like part of the food basket of the world. You can see mangoes for miles and miles once you leave the cities. That'll take care of a lot of people here. But then again, others want to come here and do you in for your food. So you got to be ready, really, to kill or be killed. Go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
No problem. But while you were talking, I want, because I like to give people just a little bit of insight as to what I was saying.
Right.
When we talk about the food products that China produces, I'm going to run down some facts for the folks in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I do that, there is somebody in the audience talking about reparations. Baby, America is not giving you reparations. Okay,
It ain't happening.
Stop. You all don't want to be collective, and you want to keep depending on the government. And if I was on screen, you would see something with my hands that would be telling you what to do with your government. Okay. Now here we go. These are called the top 20 most produced foods in China. Okay. Corn, rice, vegetables, wheat, sugarcane, potatoes, watermelons, tomatoes, cucumbers, pork, sweet potatoes, apples, eggplants, cabbages, milk, whole fresh cow milk, eggs, onions dry, spinach, garlic, and green beans. Now listen to this. Pork is the 10th most produced food in China. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It produces more than 100 million tons of these top 5 commodities that I read to you, which were corn, rice, vegetables, wheat, and sugar cane. Okay? And sugar cane. Now here's something else. Some more foods that are commonly made in China for export. Tilapia. That's why I don't eat that. I don't eat tilapia anywhere. Okay. But 80% of the tilapia in America comes out of China.
It's the pork.
Out of China.
It's the pork of the sea, tilapia. Whether folks don't realize it or not.
Yeah, I don't. I can't eat it. Codfish. 50% of American cod comes from China.
Oh,
the third one is Chinese. Chinese apple juice. Processed mushrooms. Okay. Chinese garlic. Most of the garlic that you get, 31% of the garlic sold in the U.S. comes from China. Chicken. Okay. Now, as you all know, years ago there was a scandal that went on about China and the plastic rice, which they believed was made from potatoes and what was it called? A synthetic resin. And when you bought it, the rice, remember, this was a scandal. And the rice stays hard. It doesn't cook like the regular rice or whatever. But that's one of their commodities that is for export. Okay? They have something called mud, which is sold as black pepper. Yeah. Industrial salt. And salt, this is not that salt that you use for human consumption. You know, salt is used for a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff we use, it's called industrial salt. They use industrial salt in a lot of refineries and stuff for different things. And the last one, I believe, was green peas. Okay? Now we know they got a scandal behind the green peas. Now, when was that? Was that maybe in 2000? Remember the scandal that came out when they said that they was using some kind of banned dye to make the green peas greener? Yes. So my point is, this stuff is coming into America. Many people are still partaking, and it is going to affect some folks. It is going to affect people. Now, some of these same foodstuffs, even though we have, because you know, a lot of times at these ports, a lot of things get overlooked. When they bring certain foods, certain items in these ports, they're supposed to have inspectors to go and inspect. They do what they call random sampling. And because they can't inspect everything, but they do random sampling. And so when they do the random sampling, this is how they find that some of this stuff, as you know, is contaminated or has some issues. And so even though that may exist, the stuff is still getting to the American people, and it's getting on these shelves, and people are buying it. I mean, that's just the facts. That's the facts. We also have beverages that come out of China. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is going to be stifled. And so whether you are in on it, you believe it or not, China holds 11 of the world's largest beverage companies. 11.
It's too much.
Now they claim that it is. They claim we hold 33. I believe that's a lie. But now I believe that's a lie. That's just me. Okay, but in holding these beverage companies, stuff is being shipped into these other places. But if they don't have the materials to make up what they need to make these end products, the value chain, then guess what? People are going to suffer from the lack of, even with the good stuff. Now, I'm not saying everything that comes out of there is bad. That's not what I'm saying, because I don't want people to say, oh, all they do is fear monger when you come over here. No. But again, if random sampling misses something, it can get in with the good stuff. So even if it's the good stuff that they produce and they ship out and export to different countries, if they don't have the ingredients that they need to make this stuff, guess what? You suffer too. They can't make this stuff out of thin air. Where do you all think that they're getting these ingredients and stuff from? That they just go in and just making everything out of a lab? No. All of those companies are not doing nefarious things. There's some, I will agree with you on that, but all of them are not. And so in that case, yes, you're going to find yourself seeing shortages elsewhere, but we told you these shortages were coming. You know, I'm not saying that every word we say is the law. That's not what I'm saying. But as adults, you have to have some of your own discernment to weed out the pork out of what people are saying. Or do your own research and really drill down and try to find some root cause analysis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And so what we're looking at is going to have catastrophic domino effect across the globe. That's just it. Don't come over here asking for no 40 acres and a mule because you're not getting. You're not getting it.
That wasn't a plan anyway.
We told you a few months ago. Empress LG said these folks are stocking up. She told you how she was looking at some things because she, you know, takes care of her super seasoned mom and trying to come up with ways on how she's going to prepare for that. So you all should have been doing the same thing as well. You thought that this was never going to happen, even though all of this stuff was shut down for quite some time. So, as Lance said, about people who, I mean, when people start having, when this turns into a feeding frenzy, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to get crazy. And self-preservation is the first rule of nature with anything. And these people are going to start doing some egregious things that you probably never thought that they would ever do. They can feed themselves. An example of that, Lance, is look how crime has just increased on all these major metropolitan areas in America.
And
like Houston is having more. Yes, but Houston has had more rampant, violent crimes than I mean, it is just ruthless. I mean, and everybody's getting. It's not even isolated to one particular area anymore. It's all over the place. So when you talk about that movie, The Purge, and the last one that came out, I forget when that one came out. I think it was right before. Was it right before the pandemic or a little bit after the pandemic when it first hit? And this could end up being art coming to life. I mean, we already seen it with Dean Koontz' book, but you know, you all call him a conspiracy theorist because you don't like the man. But that book talks about what's happening right now. Right now. And so we need to decide. I mean, this is happening now. They started putting this stuff in place in terms of talking to their citizens at the end of September. Here we are, November 7th. Yes? So as you can see, the time is going by fast. So what are you folks going to do? What are you folks going to do? And please, we have 138 watching. If y'all can please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Thank you. But what are you all going to do? Seriously. These folks all over the United States and elsewhere are talking about all of the issues that are happening with what's on these shelves. Okay? These shelves are being bare. Now, what you all can do right now, you know, I like to tell people about some good Black folks who are doing some things on this thing that we call YouTube. You go over there and watch Homestead Heart, the husband and wife who are farmers, they Black farmers. Their wife is always canning. Go over there. Learn how to do some quick canning and get your stuff together. Okay? Go over there and learn something. Stop watching the sensationalism when it comes to these celebrities, because they're going to be in the same mess you in. You know, in times like this, and you can look in recorded history, Lance, in times like this, money only goes so far. A person's wealth can only go so far, and then they end up being a casualty of what's going on, right? They end up being a casualty themselves. Okay? So you can talk about that you just got 4 and 5 cars in your garage, you got a 6,000 square foot house, and at the end of the day, if you don't have any food in there, your behind is going to starve. Your behind is going to starve just like I am. It is what it is. We're going to starve together. Now, it's going to be survival of the fittest, just as Lance said. But when you go over there and you watch about the canning and what she does with the canning and different ways that she makes things, be sure that you get you some dry items. This is, again, Empress LG talked about this months ago, but you all didn't want to listen. And we're telling you that the Ides of March are upon us. The Ides of March are upon us, Lance. But get you some dry stuff. You know, get yourself some beans. Get some nuts, because nuts will sustain you. They're high in fat, be it walnuts, almonds, cashews. Peanuts are good. However, certain people like myself that suffer from IBS, a lot of times we should not be eating peanuts. Okay, Get yourself some oatmeal, some fonio, okay, some spelt flour,
Yes.
stuff that you know that would have a good, good shelf life, and you don't have to worry about stuff. But it's getting ready. It's going to be kind of Lance. Well, you know how you grow up and you look at things and you probably listen to your elders around you when you were a kid, and they would say stuff when they would see things happening around them. They would say,
Yep.
"I never thought I would see this in my lifetime." Well, guess what? This is something I never thought I would see in my lifetime either.
Exactly.
What's happening right now, I never thought I would see it in my lifetime.
My mother always said, she says, Lance, I don't want to, not that she didn't want to live. It's just that she says, I'm just so glad that I don't have to endure maybe what you may have to go through. She said, I'm not trying to put fear in you. But it was after I was an adult. And I understood because we saw how things were starting to get, but we couldn't have enough of a trajectory to predict this. But on a spiritual level, she knew it. And a lot of other older women knew it, that things were going to come to this. And then now we're in it. I can't even say we're on the precipice. We've been pushed off the cliff and don't realize that we're falling. And we're still refusing to see what's really happening. And that's what scares me, because it's going to be more of a shock. It's going to be more of a shock to people when it finally hits. They're not going to know how to deal with it. Mental health, that whole situation is going to be at an all-time high. Folks, their mental is just going to go, for real.
Well, but no, we are on the precipice, Lance.
Yeah,
we are.
Right.
When the biggest manufacturer of the world that sends all kinds of products out worldwide, we're not isolating this to any country. We're talking about the entire globe.
Mm-hmm.
And they shut that down. And then they were not, due to what was going on, they were not able to properly farm like they normally do and harvest. I mean, as well as accept imports to process the stuff that they process at those food manufacturing plants. What did people think was going to happen? I mean, something was bound to happen. So just even in that infinite, no, I believe that we are, because if they are telling that China has more people than the U.S. China has more people than the U.S. Their vegetable prices have gone up ×4. Okay? They're telling their people to start stocking up on food and other daily essentials. And that is due to these weather conditions, and bad weather affects energy. That causes shortages. And then in order to have a good, energy supply, you need stuff out of Africa. But if ships and cargo ships are not moving, then what? It is a torrid tale, Lance. I want to ship some things. That boat and ship has sailed and passed. Okay, it has sailed and passed. I'm not even worried about it. You know why? I recognize what's going on. One, shipping costs have increased drastically. These people around here got these ports locked up, saying that they can't enter over in LA. Well, there's other ports in America. That isn't the only port. But because they're coming out of Asia, most of the ports, as you know, the ships that come out of Asia typically would go into LA because it's the closest one. So to go, let's say, to Houston or go to Florida, elsewhere, it's going to put more. What do you call it? More taxes levied against them. And all of this good stuff. So yeah, that kind of thing. yeah, I'm not.
But look at it this way: when they manufacture this crisis, they have everything in place. They have you in fear of COVID, right? The truckers, they're stuck.
Mhm.
The shipping is stuck, right? So now they can just easily lock down the borders and say, well, COVID-19 is getting worse. So imagine they're going to lock it down on that premise. Food's not going to be moving. Things can't be shipped in. So you'll be stuck in the country where whatever the conditions are, you're going to have to deal with it. And pretty much it may not be anything favorable. You know, of course not. The crime, the killings, let's escalate this thing more now. And it's not going to be something that is predictable. You can just move slowly away from. It's going to be right there at your doorstep. You know, it's going to be felt over here in Ghana in certain ways, but not like that. The poor people here, the common man here, it won't touch them. They just live so out of this gluttonous American and UK way. They're so distant from that. They can eat a little and make stuff. They make their food out of the ground and create it and make it a certain way. We have affluent people here, right? We have the, you know, aristocrats who are fat and soft, but we have people not just necessarily poor, but people here who know how to make ends meet that way, who don't lust after the things of the world, who are not caught up in the latest cell phone, who don't worry about the celebrities and all the distractions and whatever. And you have some like that. You're trying to push that over here. But if you go back to the basics,
Of course.
My thing, like I said before, in moving toward getting off the grid, moving out of the monetary system, is that if before it takes a person $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month to maintain their lifestyle and their bills, what if we slowly shed that off, where we set ourselves up on our own land, our own home, our solar power, growing our own food on that land, getting somewhere where it grows. If we can bring it down to $500 a month overhead, $400 a month, 3, 2, 1, and you owned everything else, and you downsized. You don't have to have all of this stuff. It's like a man who told me, who was homeless. He said, you don't realize what's the biggest problem that homeless people have, challenge rather, is that they have to have a place to put their stuff. That's why you see them walking around with so much. If we become nomads and just, we get thrown out of our apartments or can't pay the mortgage and we're out there, we got to worry about where we're sleeping and where's the food going to come from. Crime is going to go up. Prostitution is going to go up, right? There's just so many other things that's going to get, I mean, people are just going to want to die. Suicides are going to go up. Who's going to run the jails? It's going to be too packed, overflowing. It's just going to be crazy. Mm-hmm. It's just like on New Year's in New York City, and I'm quite sure in other parts of the world, where they say on New Year's Day, New Year's Day, the toll is free. So you drive, you're like, man, I don't have to pay. No biggie, but it's going to be like that. Arrested me, just raped my daughter. Jails, prisons, the whole process. There'll be no time for that. It's going to be just every man for himself and just crazy. And people say, oh, you're going off. You're talking.
But you know what?
Yeah, talk to me.
The people have to think about this too. If the humans have to eat, don't the livestock have to eat?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just asking for the church.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to be fed? China produce you typically to make feed for their livestock. They use soy for that. So what's going to happen to the livestock if they can't eat? See, again, when you talk about looking at this as a whole in terms of the entire spectrum, this is not just going to affect humans. It's going to affect the animals as well, that they're using in part and parcel for their food manufacturing process with exports. So telling families to stockpile food essentials, etc. Remember, now when the first initiations of the lockdown started over there, they weren't telling people to do that because they thought that they were okay. But now, no. Excuse me, and they're blaming all of this in terms of weather, etc., etc. This is not about weather. Okay. Okay. Yep. So, but you are right in that. Just again, all of how the chips and things are going to fall as this plays itself out. Again, the shipping. That's part of the domino effect on how it's going to happen. I cannot ship if I don't have anything to ship. I cannot process anything if I don't have anything to process. I cannot manufacture anything if I have nothing to add to make the components of an item to make a final product. So all of that is going to start with the whole falling down methodology. And so I don't think, when we look at this, it has to be on a whole scale and not in a basically having tunnel vision. So basically, we should not be looking at it through rose-tinted glasses, But there's a lot going on that's not being said, and I don't know how. I'm concerned that we are not preparing ourselves well. You see, it's going to be really, really, really interesting, but we need to take care of business and stop taking everything for a joke. Because one, your government is not going to help you. Your government's going to probably give you some modified mess that cause you to get sicker. That's the first thing. So let us get into a solution base about what we can do, because that is the catalyst here. When we were talking last time, Lance, even when we were discussing Australia and what's happening over there, I mean, and look how close Australia sits to China. Listen, this is a mess. It is an absolute mess because, again, they didn't do this when they had the lockdown, but now they're doing it now because they see, wow, when you start to planning things, a lot of times when these companies, Lance, that sell, let's say they sell, I don't know where Pop-Tarts come from. I'm just going to use them as an example.
Right.
Typically, when these companies get ready to say, okay, well, Lance Corporation, we're going to need 20,000 pallets of Pop-Tarts, and we put our order in. That's done months and months in advance. Well, a lot of these food companies can't put orders in advance like that anymore. One, they don't have the materials to do that.
Exactly.
And then if bad weather hit, let's say that I had the stuff. Let's say I had the stuff and bad weather starts hit. You have messed up the production line.
That's right.
And then there's still the issue with the shipping, with these containers.
Domino effect.
So, yes, but you know what's interesting too? I have not seen a lot of other countries talking about issues with actually accepting these ships for their imports. It seems like it's a U.S. problem. Okay.
Interesting.
Now look what Empress LG just said. She said she was in Walmart a few days ago. Empty shelves and prices had doubled. What did I say? Triple and quadruple.
And especially, like, it was mentioned earlier that things are pretty well stocked in New York, and I have to scroll up. Kim Calais, I think it is. I think the B might be silent. Correct. Sorry, I apologize if I'm wrong, but I lived up there for 38 years, my first 38 years. And you go over to the Bronx, you go to Hunts Point, you have all of these trucks coming in from all over the country. and they saturate New York City with the items needed, and you have so many restaurants and just so much food there brought in. But again, with the trucking issue, when that hits even more so, what's the deal? You have all these people who are artificially propped up. If the stores don't have anything, you have all these millions of people who are not able to grow. You can't grow stuff like that in New York City. You can have a little yard, a little street thing going on. It's not going to feed these people. You know, so we have to understand how volatile it is and how we depend on it. And if we're controlled, if it's not there on the shelves, what are we going to do? New York City is jammed and it's so sensitive with these changes. If and when these things happen, not even if, when it happens, because it's going to affect the world, but places like New York City, Chicago, you know, Philadelphia, major cities that are not near a warm place where you can grow your food, it's going to be trouble, big time.
You are absolutely correct. It is going to be trouble big time, Lance. But again, I'm trying to wonder, but maybe the U.S. is trying to downplay what is going on over there in China, because they're not telling their own citizens. They're concerned about people putting Vaseline on. Okay, they're concerned with Vaseline. You're concerned with but you're not. I mean, you're not concerned with people eating, because as you said, this is going to be part of the survival. And if people are not able to get things, people are going to start getting crazy. And think of this too, because you mentioned that a young lady had said, and I may have missed that when she put the comment up, but was saying that the stores in New York were fine. New York ports, I don't know how many areas the ports of New York serve and what their congestion is in terms of unloading, what the average container time is for processing. Like in Florida, in Houston, the average processing time is 7 days on a container. Yeah. So I don't know if they're who they're you know, when you look at their links, what stuff is going out to, what's coming in, etc. That could be a reason why, or maybe it just has not hit that area just yet.
Exactly.
But it'll be like the Great Migration. Let's just say all of a sudden, okay, the New York ports never got hit per se, right? And we're gonna have a whole new Great Migration with the folks in the South going up to the northern area so they can go up there and eat. What you think is going to happen to the supply then?
Damn.
Hello.
Yeah. No, I know. I know.
So I'm just saying. Yeah, if people were to start doing that, I mean, that the supply that they're contending that they have, that supply is going to be eaten up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure what's going on, but this is an indication, just as the title said, that there is something lurking, nefarious in the works. Something's going on. And we have to, you know, even when you talk to people sometimes and you know, you can say, I think you should do this because I'm forecasting that X, Y, and Z goes on. This was already forecasted to a point. Okay. And when you were talking earlier, you were talking about the Chinese credit. You had Evergrande going down, and it was another one. I can't think of their name right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that does affect a lot of stuff over there. At the same time, Evergrande is not doing any shipping.
Wow.
The shipping and manufacturing, that's more real estate. You know, China may not have a large area of land that they use to cultivate crops, but the crops that they do use the land for, they use that stuff to send out products worldwide, as well as import stuff to make. China, what people don't realize is, and you can do your own research, It is a known fact that China is the largest producer of potatoes in the world. Potatoes. And potatoes is a staple in some households, just like what? Rice. Am I right?
Correct. I love potatoes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're hardy. They are hardy.
Right.
They are hardy. I get it. They are hardy. And so if they stop all of that, because a lot of Chinese don't really eat a lot of potatoes like that. They use that for export. So again, we are going to have to make some hard decisions. Maybe we all of a sudden become vegan and say we'll try just the dry stuff for now and work our way down to, I don't know,
well,
something else in terms of being raw. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, this is what it's going to come down to. Wherever you find yourself, as far as your eating habits are concerned, you're going to have to curtail most, I won't even say excess. You're going to have to budget how much you eat. It's just like when you have solar power. It's different than when you have the power coming in from the city, whatever company's there. Throw the switch on, that's it. If you don't have a powerful solar system, solar power, you have to budget it, right? If you're a night bird, it's not good to be a night bird when you have solar power because you're burning things at night. You want to build a structure that has lots of natural light. You want to be up during the day where you don't need that much power, right? It's just so many things we have to do with our eating. Eat less, budget yourself, learn to eat less. You don't have to eat as much as we do. I've always loved eating. That's why I'm the size that I am. But I'm gonna have to cut out on that too. You know what I mean? So it's a mind thing. It's a mind thing. The less you eat, I'm not saying starving, go down to 1,000 calories a day, whatever. But to eat less is to live longer. And people don't realize that. You know, they say the studies have been done on rats and different things, and people too. The less calories you push through that are not even right. We can't just look at it as a calorie. Well, it's junk food. No, nutrition. And when you get real nutrition, you push yourself away from the table faster than if you just eat junk. So we got to cut out the junk, eat lean, fruits, vegetables, and it's a change as things come out of you, but that's the best way. A lot of water, a lot of rest, a lot of exercise, good food. When you get your rest, you don't want to eat as much. And I'm trying my best to get my rest now, even though I had a few nights this week and I stayed up. But different hormones are put into your system when you don't eat, when you're panicking, when you're off. Try to line your day up with the sun. Get up early, do what you can do. When the sun goes down, these things make it easier to not have to take different pills, different medications. You're not supposed to. But to correct something that you're doing wrong in your life, imagine taking a pill. There's no health that way. We need to go back to good health, being around good water if we can, sunlight, exercise, good food, budget how you eat unless you have it like that. You're growing your own stuff and it's going to get, fall and get rotten or something like that. Eat it. But cut back. Whatever you eat, cut back and rest sometime during the day. Do less. Have an hour you lay down and take a nap, a power nap. That'll help to slow things down. Because a lot of us eat out of just the excitement, stimulation. Cut the sugar out. Cut the salt out. It stimulates you to eat more. Those McDonald's French fries you get, they don't taste as good. You drive at home, got 2 or 3 Big Macs next to you, and you just keep eating because of the salt. We keep eating because of the sugar. If we cut those things out and get the real taste of food, we won't be in trouble as much. Sorry to rant on about that, sister, but go ahead.
No. You hit it. And people, listen. In talking just about all of this stuff, what we're going to have to note and realize is that it is going to affect many areas of our lives. Again, I have to, Lance, when this finishes, I need you to link that video that myself, you, and Empress Elegy did, so that people can have that on the end cap.
Okay.
Because in that video, we also discussed medicines. Empress Elegy talked about some ways she's trying to stock up again for her ultra seasoned mother. Because there are a prime example of that when we talk about food, things that are in our food chain that we use for medicines. Many of you may or may not know this. I'm not sure. Okay, I won't juxtapose or to know that you know something or not. But many of the diabetic medications have a chemical in it that is derived from pigs. Now, in the UAE, they do not sell those. Okay? So, as I discussed a few moments ago before Lance came back on and speaking, what do you think is going to happen if they cannot get these derivatives from the animals to make these and process these medicines? See, this is why I'm saying that you're going to have to think on a larger scale, not in a silo. And you know, what's also interesting is this point too. When we talk about what is being pushed out here right now, as I said, I haven't seen any of this being discussed even on these major, what we call mainstream media outlets about what is going to happen, you know, in America, but except pushing all these holidays and shopping. See, that's how you get, especially us. Now, see, I'm getting ready to go in on you lackadaisical black folks, so get ready.
Go on. Book your seatbelts.
You
everybody.
people that get crazy about shiny things, that we can only keep your attention for 5 minutes about real talk, and then you want some shiny shit, okay? These people are pushing holidays to you. Empress Elegy just said how she went to Walmart and the shelves were there, but the product she saw before now has doubled. And in a few, it will be triple and quadrupled. And you concerned about holidays and Christmas gifts? I'm just, let's see, this was all a ploy too in this part. So I'm going to double back around. You remember we talked about on a previous show as well, we talked about Kama Sutra, when those military persons were killed in Afghanistan, and she never came out and said anything to these families about them losing their children, make the ultimate sacrifice for a country that we know don't give a damn about nobody. Okay? But what she did was go to Asia and start telling people they better start Christmas shopping now. What? And black folks, because they like shiny shit, that SS baby, they out here concerned about what they're going to have on their Thanksgiving plates and their dinner menus.
I know, right?
And what they can buy and buy and buy and buy. You all perpetuate such egregiousness to yourself. And then when you find out that you're at your own peril, you look back and, I should have done that. Duh. Are you not forecasting your own cycle yourself, or you letting other people do it for you? You should be forecasting your own stuff. So what did I just say to you when I talked about, I said, I basically, the shipping game, I'm you know, and I have all kinds of stuff that I wanted to bring with me, Lance, in a storage unit. I can't even be concerned with that because of the mess that's happening with the shipping. I'm not even concerned with that. I'm not even concerned with that. Mm-hmm. And someone asked me about that a day ago. As you know, I'm here in Kenya. I came here for a friend, but yeah, it's just interesting how all of this is playing out. I can't be concerned with that. But black folks love shiny shit.
Like little mice, little rats.
And that shiny shit is what's going to have them stop. Lance, the shiny shit is what's going to have them starving. And without medication.
Well, look what happened.
That's what's going to happen.
Look what happened when the bubble bust back in 2008. and how the mortgage companies, the banks and the lenders were just making everybody qualify for a loan for a house. And that cheapened everything because now you have people making minimum wage. I'm not knocking anybody who does, but they wouldn't qualify for the loans that they did, making up names, putting people together and then when things happen, everything fell through. And those little shiny rims that they bought for the car, they spent $3,000 for it. They couldn't even get $200.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So what you purchase and what you deal with, make sure that it's something that's going to hold value. Why not, instead of some luxury car, right? Get you a truck, a van, something that you can make money with, right? Instead of doing this foolish thing, getting all this jewelry, why don't you get industrial strength kitchen utensils and different things, the processors and all this stuff, the things to cook, and get you a grill. Get you a nice big grill to make a fire and cook your food if you need be. You should have a grill while you have all of those industrial strength things and cook on it as much as you can. Today, I didn't eat nothing out of a can. I didn't even eat nothing really cooked. Heavy. The greens, but it wasn't heavy. And where did it come from? I know it's GMO free. I know where it came from. I know who planted it.
Right.
We got to have a relationship with our food again. Just the same way, and I keep saying it. I found out when you take a seed before you plant it and put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth, right? And you spit it out or plant it somewhere. It's acclimated to your system. So if it's a watermelon, it's a watermelon for everybody. It's good for everybody. But for you, if you planted that and to put it in your mouth, little things that is going to be adjusted to maximize for your health. So therefore, that tells me that we're going to have a relationship with our food. Putting the seeds in the ground, it's a spiritual thing. It will grow for you. That's the purpose of it. It's like a mother with a child, right? There's a relationship forged before that child comes out. The child hears the heartbeat. It feels the nutrition coming into it that the mother puts in the system. And the mother prioritizes. Nature does this. The child eats first. Your hair will start falling out, your fingernails cracking if you're deficient in the nutrients that a child needs. So you're going to suffer. That baby's going to come out healthy. So we have to understand that our relationship with food and this planet Earth, we've been following the engineered system for so long. Now it's time to come out of it. And when they say, come out of her, my people, this is what that means. We're depending on something that's not natural, that's going to be pulled out from under us, population control, and they don't care. So we got to do something about it. And for those who refuse, you got to leave them behind. I'm cruel like that right now because I've talked into a horse, not recent, right? But over and over, you take a topic and you get a different angle of it, so it's not boring. You take a certain topic and you strike it from a different angle. You see a news story and you talk about it, but you share what you see behind the scenes and what you feel from everything that you see. The Native Americans here in America didn't need to say, you know what? Is it going to rain tomorrow? Let's turn on the news and listen to the weatherman. They went outside and let nature talk to them, and they knew. North America can be a harsh place to live. Folks are complaining about the cold up north, and they got thermostats, heaters, stuff. Oh, it's cold outside. I can't wait to get in. Well, what happened if you never really can come in? You can burn a fire and do the things that the native people did. And that's another thing. We destroy them that can teach us so much. The insects talk to us. The insects do things. Again, I'm going to run it again. I didn't know that a bunch of ants crawling around, slow, looking drunk, crawling around, non-directional, just going around in circles, whatever, that indicates heavy rain coming soon. You have those ants that have the wings, they're flying around like crazy. That means rain is coming. So what else are the other things that we need to know where nature talks to us and tells us it's there, but we don't have the connection anymore? Now we depend on this artificial thing. They can't tell us anything about the very earth that's going to sustain us. So when they pull the rug from under us, we have nowhere to go. Nowhere to go whatsoever. Go ahead, sister.
But Lance, notice something here, especially being a person that comes from America. And this is something for those of you who are not American to take note of. Anytime our government decided to withhold things that were beneficial to the people as a whole, there's always some kind of catastrophe looming on down the road. Here's an example of that. Languages. You used to be forced to take these languages and have a certain amount of time to have these languages in school. You don't have them. The average American is not a polyglot. Whereas in the 60s, 50s, 40s, you had more of us that had some, at least, conversational skills with a secondary language. Okay? Now look at us. And that's just on a smaller scale. They removed all this manufacturing from the local home front. They've outsourced everything. And now the peril is happening amongst everyone because we need a third party to bring us what we need to survive. And that is survival on every frontier, be it subsistence that you intake within your body, or something you need to aid you with an ailment that you have daily. Now, I'm going to share something with you all. And I'm not saying everyone can do this. I'm not. But just as Lance said, we are so disconnected from nature, we are in trouble. And one of the things that he was talking about as well was what we call cradle to the grave. It used to be before, back in the day, that you could follow the source of a watermelon or any kind of fruit, any type of thing that you ate. You could follow it from cradle to the grave, and the grave being at the point where it was eaten. That is no longer the case. Now we have to use a trust factor, because as I told you earlier, these inspectors that come and work on these ports cannot, it is impossible for them to search and research every item that comes in the port. They don't have enough inspectors for that. So they can't. So they do what we call random sampling. I know I use it in my work, a lot of random sampling. So that's what they use, because you can't do all of that. So when you think about what is happening with us now, we cannot see what's happening with the food. We know that China has already told her citizens what to do. Whatever manufacturing is going on, it's likely that we won't be able to even do that anymore in terms of seeing what they are putting in and out, just because of the nature of what's going on. So our diligence as it pertains to everything is just down, Lance. So you hit it right on the head with that. But there's something else too that we should consider. Something else we should consider. And we talked about this. See, all of this ties right in. It really ties right in, because we discussed this. Doing things on a small scale versus on a grandiose scale. Like someone talking about he want his 40 acres of the baby, you're not getting it unless you're going to go out and buy it yourself, okay? But if you have, what do they call those garden pots? A brother created that tall garden pot. I will find it and I will put the link in the chat. You can go over there, and maybe it's not too late for you to get one of these. But he has this pot where you can do like microgreens and stuff in there that you can grow on your own. So you could start small. I don't know, since it seems to be moving very rapidly, I don't know what the potential it is. Maybe you plant something that has that turns around really fast, you know, that can actually fit in the tower pot.
Exactly.
But yeah, because everything does not turn around that fast. But we need to just reassess everything that we consume, as well as what we can use. Now I'm going to go back to myself, but I wanted to hit this point. This point is, I'm a person, I have said on my channel before, for those of you in this chat that do follow me, that I suffer from IBS. I do believe in my IBS. I have IBS-C. Is brought on by a contaminated food supply. So when I talk about Mama Alkebulan, it's for medicinal health purposes for me. Okay.
Yes.
So I also have issues with arthritis due to some injuries that I've had, and I've had operations.
Let me see how that it is. We should be back. Let me know, chat room. Thank you so much. These people are so
Testing
sneaky.
1, 2, if you can hear us.
Yes.
Testing 1, 2, if you can hear us.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let me show my face.
If you can hear us, please type in a 1.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay, they're coming back. Great, great.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And as soon as something happens, let us know. Let us know. Sound wise, whatever, and just give us a little time, because I got knocked off the internet through this connection and had to type through different things, make sure the mics work and whatever. So whenever that happens, just make sure, let us know. You know? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. I'll start back at this point. I was saying to the folks, I am not giving you medical advice, but look for things that you could use to aid you. Because it's not going to just be a food issue. That's going to be a medical issue. And again, we discussed this with Empress LG. We talked about this. So you need to be looking at ways that you can diversify your medicine cabinet. That's what I'll say. Diversify your medicine cabinet. Okay? You know, Lance said it, we are so disconnected. We have gotten so dependable on everyone else to do our jobs for us that we normally used to do for ourselves. We've gotten away from that, and we need to get back to that. Think about this. even in the art of war, you don't just let everyone, you don't just let yourself depend on everyone. You're supposed to watch the folk, see what's going on. But we have allowed everyone to have a handle in every facet of our lives if we don't really take care of ourselves the way we're supposed to. And now we are in trouble. And now we're in trouble.
That's right.
Because this issue with China is huge. I mean, I don't know how better to say that. And then think of this too, Lance, because we know as what the mainstream media does. They fearmonger about Vaseline all day and night. All day and night. And pitting people against each other over personal choice.
Mm-hmm.
All day and all night. And you black folks, y'all like to fall in line with that mess, but I'll get to that later. Now, tell me what they are doing and saying about this. See, the real stuff that you need to be concerned with, no one's talking. No one's talking. No one's talking. So this is serious business. This is worse than Vaseline.
Exactly. It's so true. But
so
yeah, go ahead.
It is, Lance, it is. Go ahead.
No, well, what I was going to say is that the level of disconnect, and we said it before earlier, the level of disconnect is so pronounced. And right now, there are other things I feel that are going on with the mind control, with programming us, these 5G towers out. You get these GMO foods, we're starving, we're overfed and undernourished for the most part. We eat so much to get the nutrition that we need, because that nutrition is not in all of that food we keep feeding ourselves. It all results in death, not just the physical death, but the death of us creatively, the death of us to think outside of the box, the death of us that would unify. But we don't unify anymore. Why can't we live the way we need to live? There's somebody out there that doesn't want us to have that. All over the summer, you look in different places, even the cold places, there's fruits to pick off the trees. Whatever you want to call it, creator, God, whatever, deity, universe, it's a perfect place. Everything's been given to us. But it's some wicked entity that's gotten in the way of us receiving our just due. That good feeling that you have when you're home from work and you're doing things around the house, whatever, and it's like, wow, I wish every day can be this way. And then you wake up and realize you got to go to work. Keep it simple.
Yep.
Keep it right to the point. Know yourself. Know what you like, what you won't tolerate. But you'll develop your spirit. And that's why they don't want us from young, even in schools, to have music and art classes anymore. Because those are the things that help you to think outside the box. They want everybody cookie cutter. In China, they're going to do it to us. Slowly but surely. Generation over generation.
You know, as I said, as a culture, we like a lot of shiny shit. And I'm reading a comment here I'm reading a comment here with the gentleman saying that people are calling what American dream? What is the American dream? The American dream? The American dream is your food supply is tainted.
Right.
That's the American dream. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You thought it was good, it's not. Okay. It's not. What say you, Lance?
American dream. It shouldn't be a dream. Dreams are for people who are sleeping. You should have your own visions and goals. So much has been disrupted for us. You see, so from the cradle to the grave, our
African/Alkebulan soul has been destroyed. We've come into this world flawed. As soon as we get here, we're good, but as soon as we come, they snatch us away, want to put needles in us and stuff like that. All of this, it's crazy how it is. And we never had to connect, just like we said with the food, about having a connection. We don't have that. So therefore, if we don't have the righteous connection, if we don't have the training, if we don't think right, live right, according to our vibration, how are we going to make it in a system that's designed to destroy us? How are we going to do that? This system was not made to elevate us, and they will let a few through so you can get the Jedi mind trick to say, well, Oprah made it, Tyler Perry made it, TD Jakes made it, and a few people on lower levels than that. But it's not made for the masses of us to make it. So we're not developed the way we need to be developed, that even if we were in our own natural system, that we could. And now we're not developed, and we're put in a system designed to snatch us out of here. And we say, oh, the American dream. Dream? Even that don't sound right. You dream at night. In the daytime, you have vision. You think about what you want to do at night. But in the daytime, you move your feet, you use your brain, you use your hands to do what you got to do. We're on the wrong track. You don't put an 18-wheeler Mack truck engine into a Toyota Yaris. It won't fit, number one. And it wasn't made for that. So why are we eating foods that were not made for us? They're made to create Frankenstein monsters. Why are we praying to something that's not effective? So no matter how smart we are, we say, we're waiting for the Lord to come and save us. You're supposed to save you. It's inside of you. But we got this dream and this vision of Slutty coming to save us, and we're the only ones that while the ship is sinking, that we're looking to save everybody else except ourselves. People do us wrong. We want to love them. They do us wrong. We want to apologize to them and embrace them. This is a time of war. But we've been taught to think of war with bombs dropping, bullets flying, grenades being thrown, people getting stabbed, shot. There's all different types of war, and war is being waged on us right now. While we enjoy the little food that's left, while we enjoy the shows and the shiny things, and we can blind ourselves. And we don't want reality, because if we wanted reality, we would have been building reality from before.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Exactly.
If we had a solid footing, we wouldn't slip. There wouldn't be nothing to slip off of. Look, I'm not putting my business out there. You all know I'm in Ghana to live a certain way, right? Because me being the nutcase that I am, I've talked about this all of my time online. Even before there was a YouTube, I was talking like this. And people that know me, well, Lance is a good guy, but I don't know, something happened to him, but we love him anyway. And I'm not here to say, nah, 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 nah. No, because I've been on a trajectory from within. I didn't need no American dream. I didn't need no religious vision. It's that same download that the animals out in what they call the wild, which is more orderly than our system. Because the only way they get caught wherever they are on the food chain is because they were slipping. But I see animals with pretty coats, shiny, healthy, chilling, and they're supposed to be the animals. And we're supposed to be higher creatures. But we're killing each other just to kill. We're doing all kinds of immoral things that tear us down at the core, away from what we're supposed to be. Nobody's perfect. So we do these wicked things. It's because an imperfect system that wasn't made for us has infiltrated us, infiltrated our mind, our thoughts, our desires. So out the pocket, we ain't going to think right. We're not right. We're not correct. We got to rewire ourselves back to the original specifications. Just like on the computer. When things ain't right, return to the default settings. We got to go back to our default settings so we can operate and vibrate, and we can get a download from this universe that tells us, that loves us, that's left all the food for us, the resources, not to grab it up. We're a communal people. The way we're going in this system, we're diametrically opposed to what we're supposed to be. Shouldn't no black man or no black woman be going to a white man and I got to go to see my shrink? What could they tell you that? What could they tell you? How to operate? They can't tell. You take a walk out in the park, a walk out in nature, first thing you feel some kind of stress. You want to go out into nature. Oh, I need to take a vacation. I'm going to the Caribbean. That's telling you should be living somewhere warm. Living somewhere where things are slower. Living somewhere where it's not complicated. Look how complicated society is. Look at the newspaper. Get the New York Daily News. Forget the Times. The news talks more on it may be what, 6th grade level, but still, it tells you more the real deal, right? Read them papers and see this killing here. This person jumped out a window. This doctor was put the chick out and feeling her up, the gynecologist, or weird stuff. Why are we doing this? When you have over there, what are the people there near the Indian Ocean? The black people that are over there that don't want nothing to do with this engineered white man society. And they're walking around naked, maybe with a little loincloth. The women are walking around, their breasts out. Ain't nobody looking at them because over there, the breast is not sexualized. They got perfect order. One child from one woman is the child of everybody else. The men, they know the job to do, to get up and do and get fish and hunt and plant and grow and protect the woman. You don't see one man's woman around the next man and he's trying to hit on her. He respects her because he respects the man and the wife. You can't disrespect or not respect one part of a couple and love the other. That's bullshit.
Exactly.
So we got to
It is.
Yeah. We got to go back to our default settings, and I'll shut up.
No, you're absolutely correct. And I like that. Default settings, the real default settings. And I got to get to a sidebar here. Just because these people like to come in here with a bunch of...
Let me just say something. Let me just say something before you do your thing. We know the whole planet is Africa. The whole planet is Al-Kebulon. Yeah, no, and you can jump in on it too. See, while the ship is sinking, we have all these different brands of Negroes or melanated people or copper-colored people or whatever. This planet, we are the original people, right? The cradle of civilization came out of Africa. It can't be nowhere else. We are the original. Everything came out of us. What came out of us? Some didn't come out of us. If I never ate corn, I can't expect to turn around when I'm at the toilet and say, oh, I'm expecting corn, right? But we get into this foolish thing because we don't want to be African. Al-Kebulon, we don't want that, as though we feel, as we were taught in the American schools and the schools in the UK, that there's nothing over there. I know my bloodline is from here in Ghana. This is where I am. Here. Mrs. SCURV hates me to say it, but her great-grandfather is buried in Jamaica, and he came from Ghana. 93% and more of Black Jamaicans came from Ghana. The majority of Black Cubans came from the central region of Ghana. Now, let's go back more. We traveled all over the world, so we're going to be there. So what's the argument? There's a foolish thing when they see that you speak this way. See, I love being who I am. It's obvious that the slave master tampered with my complexion. But at the heart, I know who I am. I am that one that resonates with the sun. If you resonate with the sun and the sun feeds you, you are an African no matter where you are. And I'll make one more point and I'm gonna shut up. If my whole family was born and raised in New York City, and we get a little older and some of us don't like New York no more, and one moves to California, another one moves to Texas, another one moves to Florida, another one comes back to Ghana, are we not still related? So what is this Johnny come lately separation just to argue online and do the one-man upmanship when we're all on a sinking ship and nobody cares about us when we are melanated? And so we gonna whip out a card when we get pulled over by the cops and it says, I'm not a nigger, I'm not African, I'm indigenous. It don't matter. We're all filling up the jails and the prisons. So what is this stuff for?
Say it again.
We're all filling up the jails and the prisons, and we're all feeling the lack of benefits in the system. Does it help you? The Native Americans,
Exactly.
And then one more thing too, the Native Americans, where are they now? They locked up in a reservation, drunk, beating their wives, high suicide, a manufactured ghetto because they're operating out of who they really are. And if one truly feels this thing about North America, why don't you think about taking back your land? Where's your land? Who took it? Why don't you fight them people and restore what was taken away instead of arguing or putting out this narrative to spark separation amongst the people who should be unified? What is all that about? When we're all the same. The original people of the world, the cradle of civilization, Africa, and we spread all over the world. Wherever you go, you see us. I know there's a black Eskimo somewhere in the planet. So they use social media to get us talking about things that split us apart. Memorandum 46. They don't want us to connect with Africa. So they want to do everything, even in the schools, and we're against. And yes, guess what? I got Blackfoot Indian blood in me. But am I going to deny what I am at the root? Does the branch deny the root? Does the leaf deny the trunk? We are so foolish in our efforts. If it's not bleaching our skin and straightening out our hair, I'm not going to knock all my sisters. I'm not going to rag them for that because we've been in stuff for so long that it's going to take time to come out. But now we got these new titles and we want to clutch on to things. What's her name back in the day? Jody Watley. I'm looking for a new love, baby. Remember that song back in the 80s, right? When she was interviewed, I saw her in the street one day. When she was interviewed, I'm Cuban, I'm Irish, I'm Scottish, I'm this, Cuban, Cuba, a country, Irish, Ireland, a designated part of land, whatever. But what are you? We want to be everything else. This is the land of not being the default. That's what I'm going to call the title of the show tomorrow. We are men or males, but we want to chop our penis off and grow estrogenized breasts and call ourselves women. And we got a mouthful of man spit, big Adam's apple, big hands. Why don't we want to be who we are? We got women. They walking in hunched in to make their breasts hide away. They want to cut them off. They want to be a man. This time on this earth, we are here for a purpose. There's not much time. As young as I may look for 58 and a half years old, throw on another 20 years, I'm almost 80. I will be changing every year. Damn, SCURV is getting up there. What time do I have to chop things off and argue with people and whatever and never get unity? That's the goal. And if you're not thinking unified, talking unified, and enjoying ourselves, enjoying if we have Native American culture in us, enjoy it. I'm not against that. but don't be a branch denying yourself from the root. And that's what they want us to do. Talk to me, sister.
Well, that was a good segue. I just wanted to say, every time we start to just have a good conversation, someone has always got to come in here with some extra minutia instead of sticking to what we're talking about.
Well, we're going to focus in the chat room on that. And anybody who doesn't want to focus on that.
I told you we like shiny shit.
Yeah.
I told you we like shiny shit.
And delusions.
See, we can't even stay on code. The code tonight is about this impending food crisis that would also affect medicine. But we over here talking about shiny shit. See? Child, listen. You hit it spot on. I really have nothing else. You hit it. My point is that you all just need to be prepared for the inevitable that is yet to come. We're not concerned about your connections to all these other places. We're not. Because the truth of the matter be told, and Lance, I'm going to wrap up here. I do have a call here in about 9 minutes. I have a 10-minute call in about 9 minutes.
Yes, take it away.
What I want to say is the mere fact that first these white genealogists, white anthropologists, and white archaeologists told you where the craters of civilization came from. Then to double back around, you had the black genealogists, the black anthropologists, and the black archaeologists confirm just that. So I don't want to hear this mess about the people over here, the people over there. We're not getting into that shiny shit. We're talking about your survival that every animal on planet Earth must do. And that is to have sustenance in their body.
That's right.
That's what we're talking about. All that extra stuff, go somewhere else and start talking about that. We're not having a discussion. We're talking about something that is going to affect everyone who has to eat. Now, if you don't have to eat, I mean, you are an anomaly, likely an alien from planet Zoltron. But folks need to get prepared. This is huge. This is huge. When Lance hit me up with this, I was like, oh, yeah. Let's do this.
It had your name all over it.
Because this here is real. And you all don't understand all of the different arenas that food plays a part in your daily life. And where we get what we use plants for in medicine, as well as animals, byproducts and derivatives for medicine. So you all around here playing. Lance, you hit on something. I'm going to close this out with this. Yes. When you talked about these folks taking the medications to transform their physical beings into something that was not created at birth, let me explain something to you folks. That's going to be effective too. That's part of the damn medical supply chain as well. And all the plants that go into making that stuff, that's going to be effective too. And then they're going to start looking like they're supposed to look like. What the omnipotent creator told them they should look like. However they came out of their mama's vajayjays. Now, how you like that? Now, listen, thank you for having me, Lance. Thank you for the folks here who are listening. I appreciate that. But stop looking for the shiny shit. Get off the shiny shit. Get off the shiny shit. Your basic and vein of your existence is getting ready to be on your ass hard. The mainstream media isn't talking about this in mass droves. There's a reason why. That's why you need to be concerned. Be concerned. They tell you to go put Vaseline on your skin. Yeah, that Vaseline. Yep. What's going to sustain you in life with some energy to keep you walking and moving about is getting ready to be affected in more ways than one. So all these folks around here that like all this shiny shit, I hope I see you in 6 months. Have a good night, Lance.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's been a pleasure, Sister Elizabeth. And like I said, let's do it again, even more frequent when you're ready.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I'm getting ready to travel, but again here soon.
Yes.
But definitely.
You know I'm here.
Yes,
Hit
sir.
me up. Hit me up anytime. We're gonna do it. All right.
Yes, sir. Peace
Okay.
out.
Much love to you.
Thank you.
Peace.
I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh, yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block, but don't know what goes on me. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earn that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh, yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy it, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm trying to do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh, yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
I'm fired up now. We're going to come back within 2 hours. I'm going to get something to eat and come back. We're going to make up a topic. We're going to vibe. Just want to say that the night's not over yet. We're going to come back. I'm feeling too good now. And yeah, I let everybody come on and talk. But when some people see a good point being driven, they want to come and divide and take your mind off of it. Now, see, I had to get rid of homeboy because, like I said, this is what we say. We're not saying what we say is law. Like Elizabeth said, that we're talking about survival right now. Everybody gets hungry. Just because you claim something else doesn't mean that you'll never get hungry. Just because you put on a dress and you got size 13 pumps, it doesn't mean you're a woman. If you live delusional, everybody's stomach gets hungry and your brain connected to your stomach. You're the only one that's going to be hungry, right? So we're going to come back. We'll play a little music. I'm going to decide what's going on. I have a few people who wanted to come on today. I got to make a few phone calls and see what we're going to do. Daylight savings time happened, right? Last night or earlier. So I'm 5 hours ahead. So I'm not going to be staying up as late. We'll put our recordings up late. But my morning show for me, instead of being 12, it's going to be 1 o'clock. But that's still going to be 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, and we're going to have it in the morning. But I feel to do something tonight. I'll do a few things around here, but we will be back. And like I said, enjoy the music, and we're not dealing with the bull crap.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we are living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast, he took barrels of oil untold, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So, my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes, slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise. On his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell.